Okay, I'm going to finally answer the question that everybody wants to know. What is better, the Tesla Cybertruck or the Tesla Model X? Hey, welcome back, y'all. Thanks again for coming to the channel. I got two of Tesla's best vehicles. We got the Tesla Cybertruck and the Tesla Model X. Some of you might be really trying to decide between these two because they are similarly priced, right? They're Tesla biggest vehicles, but they're very different. They're very unique in their own ways. So first of all, let's talk about the price. You can get the Cybertruck dual motor for $79,000. If you qualify for the $7,500 rebate, you will get it for less money. So you can save money on that. So pretty much $80,000, not including the incentive. And the Tesla Model X starts at, if you get a regular dual motor with 5 seats, you can get it for $85,000, $5,000 more, but it does include the unlimited supercharging. You might like that, you might not like it. We loved it on our last one. So that's something to think about. No federal tax credit because now with that unlimited supercharging, the price went over that 80K. All right, so that's the first thing to start with, both dual motors. Then you have to talk about if you need a 6 or 7 seater, it's obvious. You have to get the Model X. This is the 6-seat configuration, and we used to have a 7-seater, you know, to accommodate my whole family. I do have 3 boys, and they do fit in the Cybertruck, but there were times where we wanted to carry more people, and my original Model X replaced my Nissan Armada, which was an 8-seater, so of course I had to get a 7-seater. But if you don't need a 7 or 6-seater, you're just looking at a 5-seater, they are similarly priced. Next, let's talk about range. This Model X is about 335 miles of range, while this Cybertruck is about 320 miles of range. That's at 100%. We know how that goes with Tesla, but honestly, that's comparable. The Cybertruck has a 123 kilowatt hour battery versus the Model X's 100 kilowatt hour battery. So it does take longer for the Cybertruck to charge. What's gonna help you decide on which one to get? First, let's talk about the exterior, right? If you want a more traditional looking vehicle, more traditional, when those wings aren't up, right? More traditional, you're gonna get a Model X. I mean, looks are subjective, but it's a beautiful car. And of course, I have upgraded color. I have red, which is 2,500, and I have the cream interior, which is 2,000 more, and I have full self-driving, which is 8,000 more. But you know, if we just pretend it was a base model and you went with gray to keep the price the same, it's all about the looks. Like, it looks good to me. The shape, the style, it does look like a bigger Model Y, but that spoiler, that big spoiler, I mean, it does make it look a little different. Not the new Model Ys, those look a lot more different. But if you want a traditional vehicle where people won't be looking at it all the time and staring at you drive by, then you might want to get a Model X. Yes, the Cybertruck looks different, and yes, it gets lots of attention still. It's a very unique vehicle. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think you have to come in really liking the way that the Cybertruck looks before you even get it. Because if it's ugly to you, then don't even get it. But you kind of have to want to get something different. You kind of have to feel like, you know what? This looks very, very unique. This is something that I'm really into. And honestly, that was me. You know, I love the way it looked from the jump. So, you know, of course, looks are subjective. But if you don't care, then, you know, it's a wash. But if it was up to me, as far as looks are concerned, time and place for everything. But I'm picking the Cybertruck. Gotta get myself on camera for that. When it comes to looks, yes, I do choose the Cybertruck over the Model X, but that red is fire though. That red is fire. So I don't know if you guys use the Frunk or not, but the one good thing about the Cybertruck's Frunk is it's the only Tesla with a powered Frunk. You can stand here and after 3 seconds it'll open, or you can hit the button and there it is. It is a much smaller Frunk. It is, right? It's shallow, it's high just in one part though, And you can fit a few things in here, which is weird because it's way more functional because it is powered, but it's smaller, right? And there's the button there. But let me just show you what the Model X's frunk looks like. And already here's a problem, right? I can't just stand by it and let it open. I have to, or does that work? Let's see if that works. I'm just gonna stand by it. Oh yeah, it does. Watch that. Oh yeah, it does. So I stood by it. You heard it beep, beep, beep. And that does make it more functional. Now it didn't open all the way, but at least I didn't have to open it in the app. Okay. Now that is a game changer. And look how deep this frunk is. Very functional, very usable. Man, I love that, how it opened like that. Okay, I never tried it because I just figured, I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the trunk. But now that they both, I mean, again, it didn't open all the way, but just having it pop open like that, pop so I can grab it, man, that makes a huge difference. Instead of me looking for my fob or looking through the app, I love that. But when it comes to frunks, oh man, it's a clear win now. I'm gonna have to go with the Model X's, and you do have to manually close it. And I did just wash the car, and I did just put my own ceramic coat on it DIY. So kind of want to clean that off a little bit. All right, come back to that. But yeah, but look, you press the button here and it closes. There it is. All right, so frunk definitely goes to the Model X. How about the trunk? How about the trunk? I think we know who's going to win this one, right? So you come around to the back, and the same thing, right? I can stand back here a few seconds, wait, listen, bow, and it opens. It opens. Let's say you have, both hands full. And being a 6-seater, there's less room in here. But if this was a 5-seater, you will have this whole back space right here, and it will look pretty similar to this. I'll just lower those seats. It will look pretty similar to this much space, which is, sizable little trunk. And of course you have the sub truck storage. Yes, I know, I'm a mess. It's kind of hard to fiddle with one hand, but you do have a lot of space back here, actual usable space. But of course in the truck, you got a truck bed. Right, you have a full-size 6-foot truck bed. So it's not a traditional trunk, but it's a lot bigger. Look at this, beautiful. And you do have sub-trunk storage space here, sub-bed space here. So when it comes to storage in the trunk in the rear, obviously you gotta go with the Cybertruck, all right? So we're neck and neck right now, neck and neck. I did have to come back and fix that. That was bothering me. But notice this rear protection from Jowua. This video is not sponsored at all, but I have this for my Model 3 and my Model X. And it's really nice. It's really cool. It looks good. I'll put the links to them in the description. Very functional. Wonderful way to protect the inside of your car. That's all cool, right? Those two things matter. But what about the actual rear space? Now it's going to be hard for me to judge this because these are 6-seaters, but I can talk about the headroom. So I'm gonna close this, and it is warm today. Look at that. Trouble in paradise. I did have an issue with my original Model X. The Falcon Wing door would not close all the way. It took repeated attempts, and it took repeated attempts to take it into the service center before they finally fixed it. So that was an issue, the only issue. And I'm getting a little nervous because I'm having, I don't know, glimpses of that happening here. Like, it happened twice already, so I'm getting a little nervous. But my original Cybertruck, 99 problems. If you've seen that video, you know what's up. I had tons of problems, but with this is my second Cybertruck. It's a later VIN. It's been much more refined. It's much better. But if it came down to it, if you're worried about issues, then it's sad to say. If you get a Model 3 or a Model Y, it should do a lot better. There's less problems with those. But with the X and S, especially the X, because there's so many moving parts, it can be a headache. And the Cybertruck, definitely, there's already a new recall for the Cybertruck. So you might want to factor that in. Service center is taking care of me for the most part. The biggest problem I have at the service center was with the original Model X. They kept sending me back. I had to go back and back and back to the service center because they couldn't replicate the problem. And then I showed them, and then they were like, "Nope, there's nothing wrong with it." I was like, "What?" But we ended up getting it right. I called corporate and we got it fixed. And I think it's a known issue that things can go wrong with the Falcon Wing door. So really think about that. But overall, you know, they're both great vehicles. All right, there it is. The door closed, and I have plenty of headroom. If you look back here, it's recessed, this glass roof. So I have plenty of space, but actually my shoulder is a little close to the door. It didn't hit me when it came down, but I do feel like I'm being hugged right now. I feel like I'm really tight, you know, side to side. But if I did have a 5-seater, I could lean over a little bit more, and I can't lean over here. But overall, yeah, I feel cozy even in the 6th seat. I guess that's the point of having captain seats, right? You feel like you're contained in your own seat. But leg room, fine. It's just a weird feeling because this part is low, but the part that's over my head is very high. I have plenty of space up there. So very interesting, comfortable, quiet ride here in the back. Of course, I have a rear screen back here. And, you know, the Cybertruck has that too. They're both similar. The later Model X's has a little bit of a bigger screen because the bezel is a little smaller. So that's something to think about. Of course, USB-C's back here. I'm gonna turn that off for a second. I got 2 cup holders down here. The 5-seater, same thing. You have just 2 cup holders right here. And, you know, what about the third person? They gotta hold their drink. So that's that. No pockets back here for anything. So, you know, you gotta hold on to whatever you need to hold on to. The 5-seater is the exact same way. But overall, it's a nice experience being back here. It's not too bad at all. Now let's go check out the back seat of the Cybertruck. All right, as you come back here, you will see this seat does have a pocket. And I use it for my trash can over here. But, you know, if you're a passenger in the back, you can store stuff back here. So that's convenient. Screen, again, functional. Here, look at my headspace, though. Not as much, but I'm not hitting my head, and I'm 6 feet tall. And I do feel more comfortable back here. See, I have plenty of space, plenty of arm room. I think if I had to choose the back seat, I'm picking the Cybertruck. It's just a little more cozy, a little more comfortable. I don't feel like I'm being hugged. Some people might like that. You know, some people like sleep with weighted blankets on. That's not me. You know, I sometimes have like half the blanket on my torso and my legs exposed, or vice versa. So, you know, I guess that's a me thing. But there's more room in here, and I've said this before, and again, it doesn't really affect me. But the other people, it's hard to reach these controls back here for the window. Look at my arm, chicken wing, right? I always talk about that. And I don't sit back here, so I'm not really tripping, but I'm just letting you know. But the seats are overall comfortable. And the cup holders. Now I got controllers everywhere again. Not sponsored, but controllers by Jowua. I really love their products. So the cup holder goes here. It does take 2 hands to open it. There's a string. Wow. Here's the cup holders. Again, it's only 2. And if there's a third person sitting here, now nobody has cup holders, right? If it's a third person sitting here. So something to think about. It's getting hot in here because I took the AC off. All right, so back seat, I give it to the Cybertruck. All right, let's go ahead and get in the driver's seat. And we want to talk a little bit about efficiency, just a little bit. I don't really monitor that. I don't really care because I just drive how I need to drive. And I mean, that's I guess that's cool and all, but some people really do care. So let's talk about it. As you enter the driver's seat, Cybertruck feels higher than any other Tesla because it is higher. Right now I'm in the medium ride height. I'm just gonna lower this a little bit. I'm rolling down my windows. If I start sweating profusely, don't worry, don't call 911, I'll be okay. It's just hot today, but I wanted to get this video out. Huge screen, right? I think it's a 17-inch in the Model X. This is an 18-inch screen, Tesla's biggest, right? And let me just look at the efficiency really quickly. Let's see. So my lifetime efficiency. And again, I don't monitor how I drive. I don't keep it in chill. I just roll. And for my lifetime, I have 414 watt hours per mile. The least efficient Tesla by far. So looking at the lifetime efficiency in the Model X, 317 watt hours per mile. Much more efficient. Still not as efficient as my Model 3, obviously, but much more efficient than the Tesla Cybertruck. When you're in the seat of the Cybertruck, you feel like you're commanding the road. You feel substantial. You feel safe. You feel large. You can raise the height. You can lower the height. You can do that in the Model X too. It has the air suspension. And the one thing I will say is when I first got this Cybertruck, it felt more smooth than my last 2020 Model X. But when I got this Model X right here, the 2025, oh, it's like night and day difference. That is like riding on a yacht. So perfect, so smooth. You don't feel any of the road. So that, again, now is a more smooth ride. But back to the Cybertruck, the biggest difference is the steer-by-wire. The shape, whatever, right? You can like the shape, dislike the shape. It is a smaller wheel, but you have actual buttons. Look. Watch again. They're actual buttons that you can press in, which is good because the Model X does not have that, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Horn in the center. The settings, the controls are all in the same place, but the biggest difference is actual buttons versus capacitive feel over there. This screen is the biggest screen, but it cannot rotate. It's stuck, set in place. I didn't care at first until I got into that, and I'll show you that in a little bit. I like how my huge, and you can see the indentation right here, the mark left over. My huge 40-ounce Hydro Flask can fit here, and I love that. I mean, it's a truck. It feels like a truck, and they left enough space for things like that. So that was very thoughtful. I like that. I mean, I love that, actually. Cup holders here, wireless chargers here, garbage. Those are better in a Model X, but both are no good. There's storage here. Here's my more Jowua controllers. Here's more storage here. And it's pretty deep down there. You could just put whatever you want. This was aftermarket. And you can see there's a lot of space. It has this huge cavity here. And I did put this little storage unit here with additional cup holders. But again, aftermarket. But because you have this huge space, you can pretty much put whatever you want here. You don't need to have anything there. But I love having 4 cup holders because my original Model X had up to 5 cup holders in the front. But that's the old one, not the new one. We got to talk about this huge windshield. Huge windshield, but part of it is covered by this sun visor. And sometimes I remove it and move it back like this. You see that? Just so I can feel the openness of it. And you definitely, on both of these vehicles, need to get the windshield tinted. It's a must. All your windows tinted, especially your windshield, because it's the biggest glass, right? And it helps not only with vision, but also with heat. And that's the #1 reason. I did have to change out this rear view mirror. The original one looks like this, and it was smaller. You couldn't see anything because of the tonneau. But the in-cabin experience, look at that huge area out here. Don't leave anything. It's going to roll up there. You'll never see it again. You'll never reach it. But the in-cabin experience of the Cybertruck is very nice. But let's compare it to the Model X, and then I can tell you which one I like better. I will tell you right now, one of the best things about the Model X is the door. That's what makes it feel premium, right? I don't know if it's going to work now because I'm showing the demo, and it doesn't even seem like it's locked. But I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk up to it. Let's see. That might have been too fast, but I have it set. Look at that. I'm going to walk up to it. Hands here. Usually it opens all the way for me, but for some reason it's not opening. The door opens, and then once you get inside, you can close it a number of ways. My favorite way to close it is just put my foot on the brake. Look at that. Premium, right? Definitely a premium feature here. The door. I cannot fit my Hydro Flask here. That might matter to you. It might not. In my old Model X, I used to be able to fit it here. And I can still fit it right here, but it's super tight. And I can't have anything else down there, but that's what it is. Also, you can press this button here. and it'll close. You can control all the doors from this screen. And again, look, 17-inch screen, pretty big. But if you notice something, it's tilted. So you can tilt the screen. You can have it in the center, which is cool, and it's powered. You can have it towards the right. Let's say you're driving and they need to do something on the screen. I don't even know. Web browse, I don't even know. Or you taking a nap and the person here is watching content. You can face it towards them. But I like keeping it to the left, so when I'm driving and sitting comfortably, I can reach everything in this corner without reaching too far. And I got pretty long arms, but it does also help a lot. Also, open all the doors, which I love. Frunk, trunk, again, the frunk is not powered. It'll just unlatch it. Passenger door, I do that for my wife all the time to help her get in or to help her get out. Sometimes it's on warranty. She's not ready to get out, but the door ready for her. You can get out, right? Open, of course, the back. Let everybody in. Those Falcon Wing doors, I didn't even talk about them that much. I made a whole video on them. They are amazing. I'll come back to that. See, it's so funny because you get used to this stuff and you kind of gloss over things. But close all. Obviously, the doors are one of the biggest features. One of the biggest feature of this car. So they're really cool. The door is probably the most iconic thing. But just sitting down in here. Now, let's talk about the difference in the steering wheel. Huge, round, more traditional, horn in the middle. But these buttons right here, they're not actual physical buttons. Look. It's like a screen, right? It's capacitive. Like, think about touching a button on your phone or typing on your phone's keyboard, right? There is a vibration motor, and you feel the vibration, but it's kind of weird because you don't get that actual tactile feedback. Tactile feedback. That's what I want. All the buttons are the same here. I like having this here where the cameras come up, right? See how I have to press it in? How the cameras come up. Man, you can see all. There's no front camera. I forgot to mention that. There's a front camera on the Cybertruck. Same thing here when you open this door. Look. It's not a real button. And I just don't like that. Just being real. It's not a game changer. It's not a deal breaker. But it's just something to note. It does feel weird. It feels mushy. It doesn't feel natural. To me, that's probably the biggest knock. But the interior looks very nice. That wood grain, keeping it classy. 2 screens, right? The only cars with 2 screens are the Model S and Model X, and it is functional. What it does is it keeps the information separated, which leaves this screen with much more real estate, right? Because on this one, you'll see the speedometer, you'll see all the most pertinent information right here in front of you, while you have your music here. You have the navigation here, right? And I don't know, the 2 screen setup is my preferred method. The Cybertruck only has 1. When the Cybertruck was unveiled, it actually has 6 seats, and that didn't happen. A lot of changes, some good, some not so good, but I would have to say the interior experience, driving it feels smooth, like I said, feels very comfortable, very relaxed. Driving, you feel higher than the Model 3, obviously, and you can adjust the ride height in here too, but it doesn't get that much higher. And wireless chargers set up a little differently here. Same thing, they're okay, and a little bit better than the Cybertrucks in my opinion. We got 2 cup holders right here and a huge open crevice there, and then we have another storage here, and then you can make that go away. Boom. And you know, big enough to keep certain things. Another controller, is that the same controller? I don't even know. No, it's another controller from Jowua. I got them in all my cars because, you know, we game. You game on this screen, you game on the rear screen. My kids game, I game. You know, something to do to kill time. And you can close it completely where it's nice and uniform. There are additional gear selector controls here, and on the Cybertruck they're up above. But speaking of up above, look at this huge windshield not being blocked by sun visors. When you get in here, it's like, okay, look at that, beautiful. Such a different experience in this Tesla, in this car. It feels unique. It definitely gives you that feeling of, okay, this is premium. That's what it feels like. This feels like the luxurious version of the Cybertruck on the interior. All right, this is the more premium version. And I don't know, it depends on what you want. You want a more rugged, that's the Cybertruck. You want more comfortable, that's the Tesla Model X. When it comes to driving, because of the steer-by-wire and the rear wheel steering, I like driving a Cybertruck more. But this is more chill. The in-cabin experience, I prefer sitting here, but I prefer driving that. Big difference. If you plan on using full self-driving, it is overall better experience in the Model X because the Model X has summon, actual smart summon. The Cybertruck does not, at least not yet. And the Cybertruck, for some reason, it kind of hugs to the left. It hugs to the left lane, not at all times, but a lot of the times when you're using full self-driving. They both have hardware for, but the biggest issue is the Cybertruck, there's still not enough data out there, or at least not as much data to be calibrated as much as the Model X has. So it's just a different experience with full self-driving. I mean, it's still good. I still really love full self-driving, and actually, we have it on the Model X, but I plan on subscribing in the Cybertruck. I know. It's really dope. It's really good, but it's not as good as this Model X and, of course, the Model 3. I will have a full comparison video with full self-driving, so that's coming very soon. Now, if I cover absolutely everything, we'd be here all day long. But there are a few things that I do want to touch on that are important, like the Falcon Wing doors. And some people think these are a gimmick. They absolutely are not. Watch this. Why are these really cool? Because it's way easier to get in. If you have young kids, it's easy for them to get in and get out without them opening the car door and banging the car next to them. I did a test where I opened my Falcon Wing door and I had 12 inches of room between me and another car, and it opened easily, perfectly, without any problems at all. And my kids were able to get in, and I think it's a game-changing feature. What about when it's raining? Well, look. You can stand out, and you can stand here, you can open up your umbrella and then walk out. So I don't know, you tell me. These are functional and probably my favorite feature. And it's weird because I'm a Back to the Future fan, so having a combination of these and the stainless steel on the Cybertruck, if I combined it, having both of these cars is like I got my DeLorean, right? But I have to choose one. I have to choose one vehicle. And I didn't talk much about the truck bed, but to me, they killed it. With that tonneau, they killed it. There's plenty of videos dedicated to the Cybertruck. I got a ton of them. There's plenty of videos dedicated to the Model X. But the question is, right, which one is better and which one should you buy? Well, I'm gonna break it down to two parts. Better is subjective, but my favorite Tesla, combined overall, is the Model X. That's my #1 favorite. But if I could only have one, and I didn't need 6 or 7 seats, if I could only have one vehicle, I'm picking the Tesla Cybertruck. One, for the bed usage, because there's times when I need to fill this up with different things. I have used it. I continue to use it, not every day, but when I do need it, it's here, and I'm able to travel and carry different things in it. The bed has been so functional for me, and also stainless steel exterior makes me feel a little bit more safe, even though all Teslas have top safety ratings, right? I feel like the stainless steel, more durable, and it's just more my style. The Cybertruck is more for me, right? The ruggedness, the futuristic / retro look. The Cybertruck is more my style. And when it comes to accessories, there's way more accessories for the Cybertruck. It's just, it's more of a fun, functional vehicle. But the Model X is still my favorite, right? Day-to-day, daily driver, if I had to just use one for daily commuting, it's gonna be the Tesla Model X. But if I can only choose one, once again, it's the Cybertruck. Hey, thanks for watching. I don't know if I made it more confusing or if I helped you out. Either way, I appreciate every single one of you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Hey, don't forget, Cobra told you. All right, y'all.